People judge every video game on the same basis, the idea that it is a video game designed to be good, do good, and work as intended. For the most part this works, but not every single game applies to this standard view of analysis. This is because video games are a form of art, meaning often the elements of story, design, and gameplay can be abstract and thus not designed to be good, but to simply be expressive, immersive, and evocative. This is my personal theory on video game design, and I call it art versus product. It's the notion that a video game is either made to be good and created to be, in its own right, a product which is consumed and enjoyed for its created purpose, just as a movie is created or a bicycle. If a part of the movie is shot with a faulty camera, or the bicycle has a square wheel, it simply doesn't work and the product is defective. This happens with games. If they're too buggy, the story is slow, the gameplay is awkward, or the voice acting is bad. Generally, this is the usual way of viewing and analysing most things, including games. However, as I mentioned before, sometimes games aren't designed to be a product for a consumer, but a statement, an art piece, a creative and evocative tool. One perfect example of this is Death Stranding. If judged as a product, it is simply not good. It's slow, it has too many cutscenes, it has too little gameplay, and it's weird and complex. Yet it wasn't designed to be a product for a consumer. Death Stranding is the expression of Hideo Kojima and Kojima Productions. It's his artistic expression through video game production. It's his own piece of art that attempts to be abstract, beautiful, and unique. This video will look at 100% completing Stray, a game in which I feel leans towards art, not product. An experience which I enter feeling a palpable sense of emotion and expression. The way in which I judge this game may be different than usual, not because I'm biased, not because I have any preconceived understanding of this game, but because I'm certain this game was made to express emotion, and so a larger focus is on what this game makes me feel, the artistic vision I see, and the beauty that exudes from this creation. So join me in discovering Stray. Is it art or product? Sadness or happiness? A make me or break me? The game opens up with the beauty of nature overtaking forgotten pipes. The downpour of rain amidst the companionship of our fellow felines sets up a feeling of belonging. The world is overtaken and nature is volatile, yet love and companionship blooms and blossoms, as does the power of nature. In the darkness of this area is a metallic door, cold steel, ominous and fearful. Towards nature is our family, loving and safe. I do not want to be near that door. As day descends, the world opens up for curiosity. As a pack, we head out into the world. As a family, we get to experience this forgotten, abandoned world. My family and I are one. We explore, live, breathe, and eat together. And so, they wait for me, giving me a soft meow to signify that they wait, as we continue as one. I feel I am the youngest of the pack. Curious as I sip from puddles and scratch on tree bark. Despite my curiosity, I can always rely on my pack to beckon me towards them with their soft, familial meows. That is until I fail to follow them and fall deep down into the dark and mechanical depths of the city. The game does a wonderful job at showing the juxtaposition of emotion. Above, where it's bright, nature and life surrounds you, you also have family, love and belonging. Yet, as you lose your family, as you inhibit possibly the worst emotion, loneliness, the world turns dark and bleak. Nature fades away for cold stone and metal. Everything is suddenly the opposite. I don't want to explore this place. It isn't beautiful. I want my pack back. I run through this horrific area, smashing the circle button, meowing as my pack meows back at me. But the fall has my leg damaged. The darkness feels consuming. My controller fails. I cannot move, and the world turns to darkness. My feelings of control in real life are directly related to that of the character. Our emotions and experience are one on a conscious and subconscious level. This start sets up how I should be feeling perfectly. Pun intended. Scared, alone, and when I wake up and see a mysterious door open, giving way to any path forward, I take it. However, I don't explore this new area with excitement and curiosity as before, but with trepidation and uncertainty. Things move that I don't trust, cameras watch me. Everything works for both the cat in-game and for myself as a human. For instance, I feel myself empathizing with this creature and understanding how it would feel. There's a merge in character and player, however there's also some cleverly designed elements that make sense for either cat or human. For instance, as a human, a tiny robot moving isn't so scary, but the developers intelligently utilize stimuli to create the desired emotion. For cats, the erratic movement and sudden noises are worrying, maybe for humans too. For humans, there are red lights that at times offer a large contrast to the bleak city, possibly making us fearful as these standout cameras lock us into watching them. At other times, large signs flicker into a sign that says help, a fairly obvious display of go this way for us, but for a cat, they may just be following the only sign of light. Either way, the game is doing a flawless job setting up emotion using subtle psychological effects and evoking emotion through the environment, then drastically changing it to make us feel how the cat would. The intelligent design persists as the levels set up environment interactions, and then later follow up by changing camera perspective to show the player what the interaction will lead to. This happens twice, once with a random bucket you can interact with. You can just mess around, have fun pushing them off and enjoying the really good physics, just as a cat would. However, not long after, there's a solitary paint can which is the only way to move forwards. You have to knock it down to smash some glass. It isn't particularly complex at this point, but that isn't needed yet, or potentially at all. It all just makes you feel like a curious cat in a mysterious and scary world. At times the curiosity makes you do things characteristically cat-like, such as knocking over random paint cans. Potentially those random things lead to solving a dilemma, though often they're realistic and beautifully animated diversions. All that really matters is that curiosity doesn't kill the cat here. Fear, however. Fear is a constant in this unknown and scary world without my pack. First, a strange cold moving object awakes to scare me, and then these strange meatballs start chasing me. I like my food to show signs of life, but not try to remove my signs of life. Cue a heart-pounding chase scene. You'd think that this silly game playing as a cat wouldn't be so concerning. I mean, I've played horror games chased by grotesque monstrosities, yet a game where I'm a cat being chased by tiny Roombas scares me more. Side note, while writing the notes, I thought that these creatures were robots. I now know that they aren't robots. Again, clever design. The developers have intentionally led the narrative up to this point to be a powerful mix of fear and loneliness. Everything is so empty and quiet, even the city. Suddenly, the city comes alive and the small creatures causing us worry now cause us fear. From a player's standpoint, we know our character to be extremely vulnerable too. We'd just hurt our leg, and further, we are just a cat. We all know this frail, small creature is no warrior because the game has trained us to feel for it, to feel one with it. There is some genuine concern. Amidst the hectic chase sequence, the game utilises realistic lights with fitting directional arrows to guide the player in a direction. It's all very subtle. Whilst running and dodging you don't see them, but your subconscious does. And it guides you to safety, offering some stability in this chaotic and terrifying moment. Again, the developers are perfectly using this form of art to evoke emotion and feeling, and it is beautiful to experience. I mean, again, I was so panicked that I didn't even realise they were weird meat creatures and not robots. After being chased through this fairly lengthy sequence, we leap through a window into a new building. I want to take this moment for us to all appreciate this new generation of video game and the power, the optimization of the PS5. First, this game is running on 4K with HDR, yet that entire sequence to this new area had no loading screen, no interruption. This only enhances the immersive experience as there is nothing to take me out of it. I'm surrounded and enveloped in this world with no external real-life complications. It was exactly this that captures me as next gen when I first got my PS5, and so far only Ratchet & Clank: Rift Apart has made me feel like I'm in the next gen, until now in Stray. While some puzzles are more directed, such as the paint cans, others allow me to experiment with a cat-like curiosity. It isn't about finding that contextual clue of press X, but simply playing with the environment. Here I have fun messing around in a barrel, enjoying the awesome object physics in this game, until I realised that I can use this barrel to jump up to a higher point. This is incredibly good puzzle design, using the environment allowing people to experiment and naturally find solutions. Plus, being a cat, naturally the solutions just come straight to me. I clutch my heart as I think I'm about to lose another life. But it's all good, Pussycat, I've still got 7 left. A part of the growing love for this game is the mesmerising beauty that it exhibits. On a large scale, you have this breathtaking world, no matter if it's from overgrowing nature saturating the screen with luscious colours, or the dense, dark and foggy cyberpunk streets littered with the pops of neon signs. The world is gorgeous and carries a distinct and unforgettable atmosphere. It isn't just that though, the cat is animated and rendered so realistic that you lose yourself in feeling everything happening, as if it's real, that this cat is real. Simply the way that you move, the turning animations and quick hops from one ledge to another, it's incredibly satisfying. The detail and realism is so extreme that after leaping across from this falling sign, I look down and see the cat's chest expanding and shrinking from breathing. Everything culminates to this all-encompassing immersion and believability that sucks you in and has you connect with this cat and this world on a deeper level. This connection is now so deep apparently that the cat doesn't want me to get copyright striked and turns the radio off. Well, after it has some fun on someone's keyboard. A keyboard with actual physics, by the way. Sound off in the comments if your cat is staring at your keyboard right now. After a great section where you manipulate the environment locating fuses to turn on the power, you awaken a small robot who has no memory. The robot seems to be surprised to see a cat in the dead city, alluding that potentially all life ceased there. It also iterates that it was the one watching you with the cameras and potentially guiding the player along. My favourite proof of this is that whilst travelling, if you meowed, sometimes the electricity would go haywire for a moment. Extremely creepy when it happened, but now I know why it was happening. It's because the robot trapped within the electric grid was trying to communicate with me. It's a beautiful moment of two lost souls finding a way to not be alone together. The unparalleled attention to detail doesn't stop either, as the robot finds a harness that stores him and digitizes collectibles as well as other items. The cat puts it on and... I also know what it feels like to be carrying the team on your shoulders, cat. But seriously though, this level of commitment to animation and detail is exactly what I meant when I said this game is utterly immersive. If you think this attention to detail is all, oh no. Just after this you reach a dark hallway where you discover that the robot offers its own mechanics, such as a torchlight. In the following room you can find a paint bucket to tip off the edge. Whilst it now looks like the murder room that stopped us ever getting Smurfs 4, if you step into this Smurf blood then hop over on the piano, it actually creates tiny and adorable paw prints all over it. I should not have shown you that because I will somehow get copyright strikes from someone about that piano. Leaving this building, the colour tone adjusts from the previous dark grey to a warm yellow. Now, with a companion by our side, the mood improves. The loneliness gives way to hope. What is less hopeful is what can only be described as living bacon as I descend down this city in a bucket. Look at the cute cat, not the sentient bacon meatballs, guys. This is the moment I realised the developers with absolute genius were using pockets of positivity to bridge the major evocative themes. Let me explain. We started the game happy and feeling like we belong. Then, this is stripped away as we are left alone and scared. Without the prior, it wouldn't have been impactful, and if what followed was more negativity, then it would just feel unsatisfying. And so the game sets up with the robot with a warmer colour scheme and with hope. The emotions start to rise and feel more positive, however this was just the bridge to the next major evocative theme, which is mystery and confusion. The full close-up reveal of the bacon meatball babies starts this theme, however it's what follows that cements it. As you jump down from this ledge, you see a robot, and in a complete reversal of your emotions when you entered the city, you move towards it feeling hopeful, feeling as if your new robot friend B12 is the bridge to this new change. However, unfortunately, these robots have a drastic and different perception of you, and it is now them that run and fear you. These complex emotional variations are what keeps the player and the brain engaged, wanting to find out what's next. With the robots allowing me to stay as the only non-murderous living life form they've ever seen, the bridge from hope to curiosity is complete, and having the entire city unlocked is a realistically overwhelming experience. I mean this in the best possible way. The way exploration and movement works in this game is probably unparalleled compared to any game in recent memory. There are alleyways, main streets, countless climbable surfaces, interactables, robots to talk to, and that is only counting the ground. The possibility of movement and exploration is so overwhelming that I feel a need to take a break from the game. That isn't meant in a bad way either. A game world is usually crafted in a very simplistic design based around a horizontal plane. Some games allow some vertical movement too, but that's usually restricted to jumping onto a roof or flying up into the sky. However, in Stray it feels as if the world is open to you. The city itself blooms like a flower, allowing you to explore every petal. After finding your way through one of the many streets, you have full unrestricted vertical access. You can climb pipes to rooftops, jump into windows and see residents, jump between rooftops finding long forgotten buildings, slip between gaps that no humanoid or robot ever could, and explore completely unhindered. Unhindered not just by the city, but what feels like non-existent constraints in technology and developer ability. The reason I felt so overwhelmed that I wanted to stop was because I felt endless possibility. This tiny, minuscule feline character was but a dot on the never-ending canvas of this city. So, after a long day, everything from missing my pack to discovering this strange world of cold moving metal and rampaging bacon meatballs, I rest. And these moments of rest, they are peaceful. Even though my pack isn't here, I feel myself shrink away as the city surrounds me. In a strange way, I feel much less alone knowing that so much other than me exists. Even these cold ones find a way of life that suits them, even when hunted by strange creatures and abandoned by their pack, these humans. As I think and the beautiful world fades to the cover of my eyelids, the last that I remember is the soothing vibrations of my DualSense PS5 controller merging with my soft purrs. Awakened and refreshed, I feel ready and open to explore the vastness of this city. Myself and the cat have become one due to the pure, unadulterated immersiveness, and we shall now find whom the cold ones have called the only outsider left in the dead city, a person named Momo. This city is my city. Not because it was made for me, but because it wasn't. If my pack makes a den for us, then I know that I have my place and they have theirs. In this city, which was not made for me, I have no place. Yet no place is not mine. Any building, something which is usually protected with walls for whoever lives there, is completely unrestricted for me. I can go wherever I please because this is my city. So I do that. I find things, knickknacks and pieces of paper that B12 likes. Little things that get me closer to the world of nature, the feeling of the sun on my face and the wind blowing through my fur. Though I cannot find one piece of paper, and I check every single building too, until I find one building where it's just barren and empty, and I get this sixth sense, this feeling. Everywhere this old city is so lived in, so worn down. Why would this building have nothing? Because it doesn't. If you can't see something, it means it's hidden. Then, under some boxes, I find what I was looking for. In the face of my curiosity, this city stands no chance. Momo says that this metal box transceiver will help us find his friends and go to some upper level where all the other humans are. I tried asking him what he's talking about because he clearly isn't human, but he just said he doesn't know what meow means. It's worse than I thought. I knew the bacon meatball monsters had their home in the city, but the bacon infestation runs deep. 1 second I'm leaping throughout the city carefree, then suddenly the city transitions from industrial metal to meaty flesh. It's scary how your surroundings can change so quickly from lonely exploration to fearful nervousness. Even this outdoor location has a strange sense of beauty. The robots call where I come from the outside, and it reminds me of that, except instead of luscious foliage overtaking the humans' long-forgotten mistakes, we have the humans' long-forgotten mistakes now overtaken by flesh. The sight from the start of the game, waking up with my pack outdoors, to this, offers two very different views of one thing overtaking another thing. And that is the purification of the outdoors and the corruption of the dead city indoors. This corruption becomes vile and disgusting as I sneak inside an infected building finding the rotten core. Being a cat, my sense of nonchalant exploration never dwindles, even despite the horror of this mangled locale. I play with my hunters, they chase me. Mindless, but I am a superior feline and avoiding them is akin to jumping a small gap. Easy for me. Maybe 2 lives have been lost, but I spend this one looking down on the stupid creatures from above. Worship me, meatballs, lest I eat you. Then, the truth. The fetid corruption makes sense. As we explore and discover this city, the beauty of robot and rusted home alike, we see that even a rusted bolt can be a flower in itself. However, others, the ones from above, do not see this, and they saw this place as a dump, throwing their fetid trash from above. As it piled up, scientists aimed to create a bacteria to decompose this trash. Instead, this bacteria fought back, the forgotten trash becoming sentient, corrupting and destroying anything in its way. Nevertheless, the transceiver is installed. Whilst the upper floor people aren't to be trusted after what I've discovered, B12 shares my passion to get back to the outside. For him, simply to free his people. For me, to see my pack, and maybe find non-monster bacon to eat. Time to have some fun first though. Remember how I said that this is my city to explore as I see fit? Well, again, these lesser non-life forms think a measly door will stop me, as if a thin sheet of metal protects them from the mighty feline god? Well, they are wrong. Once Momo moves this sheet of metal, I sneak in, have a sniff around, then definitely, intentionally disrupt the robot's noise detectors to get its attention, and I definitely didn't forget I was supposed to get his help in finding a bacon meatball killer weapon. The robot, Seamus, thinks I'm helping him find some secret laboratory. Well, joke's on him, I'm just having fun trashing his place and knocking pictures off walls. When I tire of that, I solve this very simple yet enjoyable puzzle, only to then go into the lab and destroy more things. The non-human says something about using a tracker I found to find a doctor and the bacon meatball killer, but I just want out of this boring room. Yes, let me out, non-human. Free me. I destroyed your home and now I own it. Yet you still let me out. Haha. Not every puzzle is easy though. Some require you to use the environment to escape said meatball monsters, whilst others are very simple logical tasks like working out a code based on time, where others require exploration and puzzle solving across the entire city. One such one is this, where you need to know where to find a geek to read a note, then the location to find the note, and only then can you crack the safe. There are other more in-depth tasks too, minor side quests for the unique characters, which require you to find objects and then find the right people. Whatever the case, everything is designed around curiosity, exploration, and then execution. If you're as curious as a cat, you'll thrive no matter how difficult or simple the puzzle. And there goes life number 3. Damn, that's okay. Kiss it better. Saving the dock results in my already powerful feline self gaining the power of a bacon ball bursting beam. Apparently the dock isn't so happy about giving the weapon up as he starts kicking junk at me. Remember, non-mortal, your life is in my hands. Enjoy your beautiful chassis-warming reunion with your son that, despite being soundless and expressionless, is emotionally evocative. Enjoy it for now. My resolve to get back to the pure, untouched beauty of the outside is stronger than ever as I'm told I must get through the sewers. The sewers are the place in which people put trash, junk, and anything unwanted, from waste to the dead. So what happens when you get these sewers, except now it's the festering vessel for living corruption itself? Well, you get a horrifying place completely detached from the pure beauty that I once called home. A true juxtaposition. Still, as the mighty feline god, I must assert my dominance upon everything. Oh my, what big eyes you have! There is a lesson to be learnt here, that at times you may lose everything. Home, family, your pack, though there is always a connection to be made no matter how dark or how different the person, or a tiny robot. Slowly, B12 becomes one of the pack. The very smart robot protects me as he should, but I also want to protect him. This is a strange revelation considering that I just discovered B12 is a human uploaded into a tiny robot. A human I don't use for love, strokes, and food? Preposterous.
Some may call this junk. Me, I call them treasures.
Welcome to City 17. It's safer here.
Corruption is not only a biological threat, but can take place in many forms, in many ways, and in many people. Countries have been destroyed by corruption, governments becoming a malignant growth on a country. As we stride into Midtown, it's evident that this place, above the festering biological corruption below, has a corruption of its very own. Oppression is in the air, and seeing a Robocop chasing a citizen only confirms that being careful here is more important than it was below. The threat of an enemy chasing me is easily avoided, but the threat of a corrupt society is ever present and controlling.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
The city of Midtown opens up to us as a beautiful and dense sea of neon and litter. Robots, which I keep mistakenly calling people, litter the streets with distinct personalities. Some are hilarious, owning and using a barbershop, continuing human traditions for robots. You even have delinquent robots blasting music, as well as those ready to party away in the nightclub. And luckily for them, they can get away with doing the robot. We are told that everything from here is really simple. We find a battery in a government facility, we give it to Clementine, and we escape using the subway. But is this why Clementine, the robot I've been looking for, has been labelled a criminal? Why would this society's governments restrict people going outside? Is there a reason for this, or is this just leftover programming at work? It seems curiosity kills the cat is a false statement, because my curiosity in exploring every horizontal and vertical inch of this city led me to find 2 required items to progress before finding the robot who wanted them. With the worker helmet and jacket given to this robot, a stealth mission inside the factory can commence. The perfect mission for a sneaky, vibrant orange cat. just as I feel I have this world wrapped around my pad, I'm proven wrong. The meatball monsters and their bacon goo are gone, and now undefeatable and inescapable robots are the enemy. I wasn't particularly scared, and being sneaky was of course a breeze, and definitely did not require careful attention and patience due to these incredibly designed robots. However, it suddenly felt cheap when I opened a door, only to be faced with a robot looking immediately at me. The factory offers some great stealth gameplay that balances the possibility of feline speed with careful preparation. Puzzles also get mixed in that are incredibly well designed and require you to really think whilst not being obtusely taxing. The puzzle boxes were a little slow for this godlike speed demon, but I'll let it slide. This extends outside of the factory too, as this entire area has introduced environmental exploration with puzzle solving, and it makes me feel like some kind of super cat detective. It isn't just about being smart, but also investigative. Previously, safe areas eventually start filling with now hostile police robots, meaning the safe becomes dangerous, offering new ways to look at areas and explore them, intelligently reusing areas, and instead of feeling recycled, it simply makes this bustling, beautiful neon city feel more alive than ever, reactive, watching, and hunting. As predicted, corruption runs deep. The robot who helped me enter the factory and gain the battery is the very same robot who has now betrayed us for the guiding facet of social corruption: money. The material substance that both makes the world go round and stop. Confinement. Loneliness. It repeats. B12 is gone. My pack is gone. Inside a steel cage I feel a cold within and without. But resolution is the key to the lock, and with that anything is possible. And resolve the situation I must. Like it or not, this world isn't always built for me, even if I can sneakily get into places I shouldn't. I rely on B12 to be free, as B12 relies on me. With my feline talents, escaping and then rescuing Clementine was easy, but not as easy as if B12 was with me. It isn't just B12 that can join my pack either, but the other robots too. They help me and I help them. Maybe not all, but some. At the very least, Clementine and me work together. I would be dead if not for Clementine too, as she waits for me before leaving this horrible prison, which I am thankful for because I've lost 3 or 4 of my 9 lives trying to escape already, and there isn't many left, but sadly Clementine leaves me. I try to argue against it, the pack must never split. I've lost so many, but for Clementine, who will be hunted eternally, I vow to escape and find a way outside for all just like her. To find my pack and get outside. These metal things mean nothing to me. So I take the train and step out only to find something far colder than the damn metals of the dead city or Midtown. Yes, this entire place looks clean. It looks fitting for a creature as beautiful as myself, but something is wrong. I look down upon the city I came from, corrupt, pestilent and dying, yet feel lost when seeing how far away it is, and turning around to see this sterile place in front of me. The self-proclaimed helpers in this area are most unhelpful. They act like they are plants, except instead of giving life, breathing oxygen and feeding the world, they're just cold, repeating the same redundant task over and over. I do not like it here. I much prefer the dead city filled with struggling life to this. Resolute, me and B12 find our way to the control room where we start unlocking the door to the dead city, to Midtown, and open the way to the outside. After destroying each computer one by one, the main console is unlocked, but B12 tells me it will take all of his power and he needs to go inside the mainframe to hack the console. I didn't understand really, but the moment his lights went out and his body hit the worktop with a clunk, I understood. What I didn't understand is how different the pain of losing B12 would be to the pain of losing my pack. With my pack, it was like being separated from family. I miss them, but will see them again one day. The loneliness felt scary but temporary. With B12, I feel like I've lost a leg. I feel half the cat I once was, and feel that I have lost a part of myself. There is hope though, a hope that he just sleeps, and if I nuzzle and sleep with B12, just maybe he'll wake up refreshed. He doesn't. Seeing the light flood the city, bacon meat monsters popping and dying, robots staring above, freed from the limitations of those before them. It is a nice moment of solace amidst my loss. As I feel the warm embrace of sunlight upon my fur, my old pack is out there, a new world to be reclaimed and many packs to be made anew as well, though some part of my mind lingers, attached to the fort of B12, the part of me left behind. It's in the moments such as this that it's not the achievement of saving many non-lives that I think about, or the vast open world that awaits me. But it's B12 that I think about, and it's in that moment that I'm certain I hear the crackle of electricity. And that, everyone, was me finishing Stray, though please do stay a little longer and do not stray, because long-time subscribers, or, well actually I've been doing this for like 3 months, so 3 months long subscribers know that I review and critique the entire completion process. Usually I would have critiqued the entire game, but this game was a piece of art that needed to be reviewed and appreciated on its artistic merits, not its produced qualities. Though you'll hear more about that with a conclusive review at the end. It's not going to be long, so for now, let's see what lies in store as we get that sweet platinum trophy. The first simple step is to collect all the missed memories, which for me were 1 hidden in the sewers and 4 in Midtown. I thought I explored Midtown very thoroughly, but clearly not. It's good because it shows you that you really have to be curious and check every pipe and every corner for the secret items. But there was also 1 hidden in the first section, the Dead City, that was a little obtuse. It involved the energy drinks and it was hidden in an annoying place with no indication it's there. Just a random TV you jump on, then into a hidden alcove, and then there it is. Very minor thing. We have internet these days if needed, but contextual clues are always better than obtusely hidden objects that require the internet. After the ending we just faced, hearing this memory from B12 got me a little. This one's for you, B12. Overall, the memories were nice and fast to mop up. I also got a very simple yet appreciated reward for collecting them all. This reward is a new harness, and while purely cosmetic, it is always welcome to have a tangible reward for completionists, as the ordinary reward is a big fat whopping load of nothing. However, upon checking the other trophies, there was a little bit more work left to be done than I thought. First, I needed to collect some music sheets for a robot in the Dead City. I had only missed 1 sheet, so I thought no problem, until I turned that sheet in and didn't get the trophy. Confused, I looked around until I realised it had reset my sheet progress, meaning I had to go and collect every single sheet again. Minor annoyance, but still an annoyance. At least the sheets are still absolute bangers. I mean, listen to this. Now, regarding the rest of the trophies, most of these are quite random, such as Pacifist requiring killing no Zurks during the sewers, and another for doing Midtown without getting caught. I decided to get most of the trophies out of the way now because the next big trophy is a speedrun, and I don't want to be doing some of these trophies during that. I actually do try to do one of the trophies during my speedrun, and it really delayed it, and it was not a smart choice. Of the trophies that I mop up prior to the speedrun, 1 is collecting all the badges in the game. Some require side quests, and I'd luckily gotten all of those. I was just missing 2 sneakily hidden ones. 1 was just in a safe that I missed, definitely hidden away, but not as tough as the second. The second badge requires a lot of climbing in a place that I never even noticed. In fact, I never would have even found this if it wasn't for 1 very underappreciated and underutilized part of the PS5, and that is the trophy hint system. Unsure where to go, instead of looking online, I just press the PlayStation button, I find the trophy, and it gives me some handy yet somewhat vague hints about where to go. I find it's a really nice middle ground between online just telling you the answers and you doing it yourself. Speedrun time. The requirement for the speedrun is simple: finish the game in under 2 hours. I'm going to show the footage of me speedrunning the game condensed down for you to all see. Most sections are fairly easy, as it's just remembering where to go and what to do. The later sections involving stealth are definitely harder though, as you have to balance patience and speed. Regardless, it goes incredibly smoothly, and I get a time of 1 hour, 45 minutes despite spending time mopping up trophies, going slowly for the don't get caught trophy, attempting the don't get attacked by Zurks trophy, and more. Some don't like speedrunning, but I love this trophy and most games that require a speedrun mode. One example of that is, I believe, God of War 1 or maybe 2, one of those two. Really fun trophy, really fun way to play the game. In my mind, speedrunning is the notion that one has to perfect the game to a point in which they can do it flawlessly, balancing patience and skill. I see no greater test to a completionist than that. It is unfortunate that you get nothing for this. Something silly like catnip would have been hilarious for a speed boost. Overall, it was a great way to end the game, and now all I need to do is load up a save and sleep for an entire hour. I would show you this, but I somehow think you don't want to fall asleep yourself. Then, after a very long catnap, the Platinum Trophy pops. The adventure, the experience, the journey of Stray is over. The verdict: did it make me or break me? Stray is a beautiful piece of art, handcrafted and created by a team that I'm certain was immensely passionate about the game and gaming. From the moment you start the game, the art begins. From the poetry of belonging and purity to the rapid descent into loneliness and corruption. Though, even at the very bottom, you are taught that companionship, hope and beauty can prevail even within the dankest, most oppressed place. As this glimmer of hope and belonging shines, you push onwards, growing as a person. The world metaphorically becoming more welcoming. Yet you learn corruption doesn't only exist unnaturally but socially too, and that the repercussions of this world had led to a trapped, oppressed and overwhelmingly corrupted society. It isn't far-fetched or unbelievable at all. It's explained extremely well. The robots were programmed to help, then as humans died they were programmed to take the place of humans, which led to programming themselves to exhibit human emotion and action. Before you know it, a functioning society of robots with all the good and bad of humans exists. Yet for some reason there's a strange innocence to the robots. They aren't having to fight to survive, so by nature they exist to be with each other, to make the world function. And this is for the better in regards to belonging, and worse in regards to corruption. Because of this, relationships form as you play. You learn about and connect with the robots, but most importantly the integral component to your gameplay, B12, who sacrifices himself, not for humanity as he originally intended, or his family, but for you and for the robots who can rise to the surface and live a free and innocent life away from the discards of humanity. The game is short, sweet, and gets all the above across with calming and relaxing puzzle-based gameplay, exploration and stealth. It isn't ever difficult, but this game doesn't need to be. It is immersive and beautiful, encapsulating and evocative. You spend your time a part of the world, and by the end you want more of this world. You want to see how everything develops with the city open, and I will be greatly disappointed if we never see this beautiful universe again, or what the robots do with it. Stray made me see again how artistic and creative a game can be. Everything felt so natural and immersive, yet so poetic and streamlined. The platinum process has some slightly annoying kinks, and more specifically the very difficult trophy to avoid Zurks in Chapter 2, but overall, it's not just the game that gets a make me, but the entire platinum process. There isn't a moment that didn't make me appreciate the game and its beauty, and now that it's gone, my belonging wanes for loneliness. Stray is a perfect 10 out of 10 for what it is, and you'll be sorely missing out if you don't turn the lights off, start the game up, and let the real world just shrink away. Thank you each and every one of you perfectionists. If you enjoyed this and want to support my content, please give it a like so YouTube knows I'm not a waste of server space. If you want to subscribe, then amazing, I will work extra hard on the next video just for you. Your clue for the next game I play? Well, it's funny because in a way you could pretend that the outside of Stray is also the outside of this game. An expansive open world barely touched by humanity with but a select few still alive. Robots exist there too, though somewhat larger and prehistoric. See you soon.